Alright guys, let's go ahead and do a video talking about what basically nobody wants to see. That's going to be Gun Bunch. Now, Gun Bunch is, I feel, mandatory in this game, truthfully, just because of how well it picks up the pressure, and also how you can send out 5 routes, attack both the flats, and really put pressure on your opponent's defense. So in this video, I don't really want to focus too much on setups. I want to focus on the ability to kind of just annoy your opponent. By now, everybody knows, the Pat Sales of the world. They know, Mesh Post. They know all the glitchy little things. In terms of Bunch, what people I don't think do enough is they don't flip the formation, which is one, and they also don't attack the flats. Most people, your average players, when they come out in Bunch, they're max protecting. Almost every time they're max protecting, they got some post, they got some drag, typically a streak in there, and they're rocking. I don't feel that's the best way to truly run this. And you see a lot of the top Bunch players in the world, whether it's Joke, Kiv, Clef, all of these guys, Ghost is another one, all of these guys do essentially the same thing, and that is they force you to guard the flats. Like, they will take their 5-6 yard pass every down, and then they will force you to over adjust until you give up a big play. Most people are the opposite. They're always looking for that big play. They're always looking to, max protect to pick up the pressure, to roll out of the pocket, to hit something going deep. And what I'm doing with this formation is I'm focusing more on the flipping. I'm focusing more on the flats, the drags. I want Bunch to annoy my opponent. I don't want it to be my whole offense, but I do have the plays that I need in case I am facing a very heavy blitzer like the 5-2 scheme, whether they are in nickel normals, a real heavy blitzing formation. Basically, if they have the ability to get great pressure on me when I'm in 5 wide, Bunch is the perfect backup. And that's what I wanted to focus on. So you guys already know the audibles. You got Texan Trail, corner strike verticals, post cross. What I want to show you is how easy this formation is to do the flip game with. So coming out Texan Trail, right? So I know I want to run Texan Trail. The first thing you want to do is you want to put the tight end on a flat, and then at this point you want to know which side you actually want to run the Bunch. So the setup with this is to just drag the outside receiver that is opposite the post, right? So you're going to have 2 drags, a flat, and a post. Now if you come out in this formation and just hike it, people will catch on. They'll get used to it, They'll be able to slow it down to the point where it'll become annoying to you as an offense. But what happens if you put the tight end on a flat, you let them make their adjustments, and then you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to just flip this play and hike it. So what you would do in that scenario, you would drag, I guess, B or circle, and then flip the play. Now when you do this, your play is set up, they have no time to make any adjustments, and then you're able to just hike the ball. Oh look, dump it down to the flats, pick up my 4 or 5 yards. If they do, for whatever reason, have a hard flat over there, you're going to be able to go ahead and, so here's hard flats, boom, you got the drag, and you got the post over the middle of the field. Now that post, it's always best to just high point that, just to be safe. You don't have to do it, but high point gets you those glitchy animations. Once again, the flip game is amazing because you can just flip, hike the ball. So no matter what adjustment they do make, so like for instance, say we come out, we know that we want to run it like this. We want to run it to where the Bunch is on the right side of the field. We could set this up. It's a very easy setup. You flip, let them panic, make their adjustments because they see you flipping. So they would do something like this right here. You know, boom. This is the good adjustments that you can make. This theoretically would probably be their user, so that'd be down in a spy. And then you're like, all right, cool. We're just going to flip back and hike the ball. And now you look at their adjustments. And typically, they're just going to leave something wide open. All right, flats. Easy 6 yards. They're not going to be able to adjust the way they want to. They're going to be manning up people. They're going to be moving players down. 3-3-5 is good because, you know, basically it's symmetrical besides the corner. And most of the time they're just bluffing that the corner's coming, or they're going to send 6 people. I mean, the corner is where he is, but if he's on the opposite side of the bunch and he's on the side of the running back can pick him up very easily. So just knowing that, you could flip, then flip back, and then flip again, and your opponent's just going to be annoyed. Not only do they not know what play you're in, primarily with this offense, we're attacking everything short, you know, until we force them to over-adjust, and then that's going to open up everything else. So now, as I mentioned, that's the setup, right? So you're just flattening the tight end, dragging the ISO receiver, and then deciding which side you want to actually go to. Now, the other plays that you can do, corner strike. So with corner strike, you're streaking the slot guy, and that's it. That's the only setup you have to the play. So you can flip, your setup is still the exact same, now it's going to the other side. Alright, well you flip back, once again, it's still set up, it's still going to that side. Now with this, you know, when you're running this, you're looking to pretty much get out of the pocket, throw this deep corner route, or to the flat, one of the two. Ideally, you want the corner route going to the wide side of the field, but even if, for whatever reason, you don't, so like say you want to run this play, and you just want it to be on this short side of the field, basically what you're saying is, hey, I know there's a cloud flat over there, I'm just going to utilize this play to pick up my 5-6 yards, because nobody's watching the tight end. They're not going to cross-man the tight end. And you'll see, all right, boom, pick it up. That flat pass just picked me up 14 yards, 13, 14 yards. I mean, it really is as simple as that. So just with one streak, you flip. You can either quick pass here, say they adjust, say their user starts going over that way, just flip back. You're still set up, you're still good to go. And now, since you're on the wide side of the field with this corner route, if you can get out of the pocket, which I couldn't right there, but if you can get out of the pocket, you know that that corner route's going to beat the cloud flat. Or if you catch your opponent over adjusting with this, so say you just flip, you know, they know that you're on the short side, they know you want to throw to that tight end on the cloud flat. You're like, all right, cool, hard flats, corner route wide open. Don't forget, you can also do the same thing to the running back. So the running back, you can flip. Now, if they have a cloud flat, running back to the wide side of the field, you're going to be able to dump this down, pick up whatever that was, 15, 20 yards. The table route, whereas last year you always wanted the table route going to the short side of the field, now you actually want it going to the wide side of the field, because this C route essentially is only going to be good for, you know, taking that cloud flat deep. You'll see, boom, you can just dump it down. Only picked up 2-3 yards right there, but he actually played to the point where I probably could have thrown that corner out over the top of him. So yeah, that's just something to pay attention to. Like I said, if you can roll out, you have the ability to fit that C route over the top of the cloud. Just something to pay attention to. But once again, C route has to go to the wide side of the field to have any shot at doing that. Verticals. Verticals is kind of different in the sense that when you want to quick hike this play, you're going to max protect, you're going to streak the tight end, and then you're going to decide where you want to go with your, you know, actual setup, right? So it's going to work similar to the Texan trail play, in that you're going to drag one of the two. You're either going to drag the ISO receiver and then you're going to motion the guy out. That's going to be your main setup. Just going to dump it down. Or you're going to drag the side of the bunch, and then when you flip the play, now you're set up and you're good to go. And then you're just going to motion that guy out. So you can see, like, the flip game is a little bit different, mainly because if you max protect out of verticals, we're going to go to verticals really quick. If you max protect and then you flip, you'll see that they go back on the routes, right? So if you know you want to run this play and you are hell-bent on blocking the running back, not having him on a delay route, then you kind of got to block both players and then flip. So you have to do it manually where you block and then flip. You can do it, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. So anytime you max protect and you flip the play, it's going to reset those two players. It's just the way the game works. Once again, you see max protect out of verticals. You can see where I'm streaking the tight end. I'm going to flip the play, but my running back is now back on that delay route. That does screw with people's, blitz pickup. So if you want to use this concept and you want to pick up, play the whole flip game with them, you do have to manually block either both, or you manually block the running back, streak the tight end, and then you can play the flip game. See, you see the difference where the running back does not delay. Just something to get used to. It's more so annoying, I think, the fact that it doesn't work just like everything else. But I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. Now, with verticals, the thing that I like to do is that setup that I just showed, where you are blocking and then you've got the drag. So that's going to be setup 1. The other thing I like to do is, if my opponent catches on to that, I like to actually drag. I'm just going to go back to the play. You drag the side of the deep cross. So I would do this right here. I'm going to block the running back. I'm going to streak the tight end. And now here I know I'm going to flip the play. So the bunch is going to be on the left. So I'm going to drag the left receiver, flip the play, and now I've got a streak, a crosser, and a fade, and a drag. So I'm running this setup right here to where you now have the deep crosser going over the middle of the field. That's setup number 2. The other setup that I use out of verticals is I like to fade and block. So it would look like this right here. This is just something that I like to do. It doesn't work a ton. Like, people can catch on to this and stop it. But a lot of people don't man up the tight end. They don't man up the tight end. They don't man up the running back. They kind of just pay attention to their user on those players. So this vertical route, what it'll do, especially once people start cross manning, so you would have something that looks like this. This is going to be primarily their coverage. You'll see that you're going to have this vertical route right up the seam, and it's just something nice to mix in, because the way that people defend bunch is they're going to cross man the outside receivers. This is your primary bunch defense because of Pat Sale, because of mesh post. Those are the routes they're really worried about. Now, there are people that will do this. So you would see this right here, right? So they're going to man up 2 people, and then they will still leave this bluff blitz. This will be their user. So they man up their safeties out of this cover too. Now, once they do this, this is where other plays come into the mix. This is where post cross in particular is just an amazing play. What I like to do is I like to either zig the tight end or put him on a curl. So with the zig, you'll see, well, you're going to see me get popped by Khalil Mack. But I want to backtrack a little bit because I actually want to put my best corners at safety. Harrison Smith got torched right there, but Honestly, he's too slow. People will never actually use him there. You'll see the likes of like Pat Pete and Jalen Ramsey in this spot. Basically, whoever their best man coverage players are, they'll go here for this tactic. Now go back to bunch. Post cross. So as I mentioned, they will man up the tight end. They'll man up the slot. They'll do some combination of a bluff blitz, and then they'll man up the safeties on the outside players. Typically, they will bring them down just to kind of mimic the Tampa 2, and then this is going to be their user. Typically, the user is going to bite down anything short to take away the drags, because they're really relying on these guys being able to defend the crossers, right? So with this, I am pinching my line so I don't get dominated by Khalil Mack. As you'll see with the zig, you'll notice that the post route absolutely is going to torch that crossman safety. And it doesn't matter how good they are. I mean, as long as they have decent speed, you're going to be able to bomb them. It's really good against that. It's really the main reason why I use this play. The play is basically set up for you, so you can play the flip game all you want, no matter if you put the tight end on a hitch, on the curl, or if you put them on the zig. No matter, if you flip, they're still on that route. The play's still set up. It's still good to go. The deep crossing route has to be run, like this route over here being ran by Moss, has to go to the wide side of the field. If it's not to the wide side of the field, it will not work. It will not get over clouds. But, as I mentioned, even if they cross-man the safeties, which this is kind of brutal to do this, unless you absolutely know what they're doing. But you'll see something like this right here. You got everybody pretty much cross-manned. You got the 3-rec over the middle of the field. You got their user taking away whatever. You'll see, if I don't get sacked, you'll see even with the cross-man safety, that post route just pops it. I mean, that's Pat Pete on Terrell Owens. You saw the separation that it got. I'm going to go to the instant replay just to show you once again really quick. You'll see, even with the cross-man alignment, he basically stops. Like this skinny post, although it's not good in the traditional sense of it won't cross the field and be open over a cloud. It's going to be to cover 2 by itself. And if they don't have a mid-read, it's going to pop that. And then if the safety, if they cross-man him, or they may just simply man him up with the safety, it's going to get popped. So we're counteracting with that play what a lot of people like to do out of that 3-3-5. As I mentioned, the other thing is the curl. You can flip it, you cannot flip it. Basically, what you're doing with the curl is you just want a high point. So you're relying on them following the deep cross. So just to mimic, so this would be their user. They're going to follow the deep cross, or even better yet, they'll follow deep on that post route. So you would see something along this line right here. So they're going to imagine them dropping straight back to guard that post because that's what they know is coming. This curl will sit down in that middle of the field, and then you can high point it, as you'll see right here. Just boom. Well, actually, the 3-rec played it pretty much perfectly, but that 3-rec won't do it. I promise you, in game, the 3-rec typically will follow this drag almost every single time, or the deep cross, one of the two. So that's it. I mean, you can do other setups. That's just how I'm running this bunch. I know this is kind of a long-winded video. I wanted to talk about what I really like to do out of this and how it's a little bit different than what most people are doing. You want to force the underneath stuff. You have, once you force them into worrying about the 5-6 yard pass, you're going to be really good. It's really that simple. You force them to play underneath. Everything else is going to open up over the top. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's Gun Bunch. You guys know 99% of the setups. I just wanted to explain the flipping method, how you can utilize it to really kill your opponent. and it's something you see at the very high end of players, like I said, the Ghosts, the Jokes, the Clefs. The flip game is very annoying to deal with when you're trying to make adjustments on defense, and it's honestly something that people don't use enough of on that other level, after that elite tier of Madden. So that's it, guys. That's Gun Bunch in a nutshell, and we'll move on to the fun part of the offense next.